When we saw speedrunner versus 4 hunters, we thought that was the peak. We thought, surely he's not going to add more people. How will he possibly win? But Dream announced that he's going to do speedrunner versus 5 hunters, so that got me thinking, who will be the next hunter? Just to let you know, the information I'm going to give you today, some of it does come directly from Dream, so I feel like you can trust me that I'm not just speaking out my ass. With that being said, I have 5 names that I want to talk about, but first, let's start off with this clip.
Love the new song. Do you know who the next hunter is going to be? That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of options. I feel like I'll just say what I'm thinking right now. The 4 people that I think are most likely: Callihan, AwesamDude, Punz, Karl. Those are the 4 most likely. I don't know. Maybe it could be someone else.
Okay, so first he said Callihan. Now, personally, I don't know much about Callihan. I've never really heard of him before I recorded this video, but what I found out was pretty interesting, and I understand why Dream wants to add him, or at least considers adding him. But first, I should probably tell you what is the criteria that Dream looks at to pick the next hunters. Number 1, you have to have a decent personality. There has to be something about you that is a bit different than other people to make the video more interesting, obviously. The next thing is you have to be okay at the game. So you have to be like decent at the game, but you can't really be super good, because if you think about it, if all the hunters were as good as Dream, there is no way that Dream would possibly win. That's why he chose hunters that are not amazing at the game. They're decent, but they're not amazing at the game, so he has a chance. And the last piece of criteria that I came up with is you obviously have to be close friends with them. That way you can record and obviously have humor with them. And yeah, that's the criteria that I came up with. So back to Callihan, what I found out is that he actually doesn't talk in his videos or anywhere else, and that's kind of what he's known for. And because he's quiet, as Dream said,
the reason Callihan I think would be cool is just because Callihan doesn't talk, and so like he wouldn't make it too crowded or something, if that makes sense. That's the only reason that I thought maybe Callihan, because he doesn't, like, obviously the more people you add, the more like crowded it gets.
It makes the cool less crowded, because if you think about it, when there's a lot of people screaming, oh my god, Dream's over there, oh my god, the cool definitely get way too crowded, especially when there's 5 people in it. And with someone just using chat to communicate, it would make the video a bit more interesting, and it would give him a character which you don't really see much in the Manhunt series. Next, he was actually supposed to, or maybe he was considered to be the 4th hunter. Now this is probably like the biggest piece of evidence I have for him possibly being a hunter, because according to this clip,
and I know just the person to invite. I was gonna say Callihan.
Oh my god, he's mute. Invite the mute.
That would be,
That
would be so frustrating.
He'll be like, he'll just be there, and you guys are like, Callihan, where is he? And he's just like
typing in
running.
chat.
He can't even type.
He's like,
yeah,
helpful.
he's like, help, and you see him in chat. That's so dumb.
Ironically, I would almost want to see that, because that
would be so dumb.
BadBoyHalo had the idea of suggesting Callihan to be the next hunter. And obviously, back then it was more of a joke, you know, they didn't actually take that seriously, but I feel like now they have a bit of a different opinion. Also, apparently he was one of the first people on the Dream SMP, which clearly shows that he's very close friends with the Dream team and everyone basically on the Dream team, yeah, which is also part of the criteria. Okay, so we talked about Callihan. Who's next? Well, the next person is AwesamDude. If you don't know who he is, he's basically just a close friend of the Dream team, and he was also one of the first people on the Dream SMP, which again shows that he's very close friends with the Dream team. And by the way, that is super important because, for example, Antfrost was also just a close friend of the Dream team. Like, I didn't really hear of him before he got into Manhunt, at least I didn't. Another thing is, he is clearly very creative when it comes to redstone, as you can see by him building a prison on the Dream SMP. And I feel like in the Manhunt, that could translate to cool traps and just cool moments, which would be pretty cool to see, and it will make the video much more interesting, which Dream obviously wants. Also, from what I've seen, he seems like a pretty chill person. Like, I've been on his streams before a few times, and he just seems like a pretty chill person who wouldn't really like shout over people in the call, because he's pretty chill and not really that loud, which again is very important to not make the Discord call too loud. Okay, so let's move on to the next person, who is Punz. Now, Punz is a bit of a different person because he's actually pretty good at the game. Like, when I say good, I mean he's genuinely good. I've been on his streams before where he was just speedrunning, and he's actually good, which is kind of a negative when it comes to wanting to join the Dream SMP, because obviously Dream doesn't want pros in the Manhunt. But I feel like, as Dream said himself, Punz also needs to prepare, like traps and stuff like that, which he might not be as good at. And I feel like he would find out that it's actually harder than he might think before. Also, from what I've seen, he's pretty positive, just like AwesamDude. He's just a positive person, which will give the video a much more happy vibe. Now, the only thing is he could be quite loud. I'm not sure. I haven't really seen much of him, but I feel like he's one of those people who would scream if there was like a big fight going on. Again, I don't really know that, but it could be true, which would also be bad if he wants to actually be in Manhunt. And obviously, he's very close to sort of the Dream Team and the Dream SMP community. I feel like everyone who watches the Dream SMP a lot knows who Punz is, so I feel like a lot of people would genuinely want to see him in a Manhunt. Alright, next, Karl. Now, Karl is very, very interesting. Obviously, he's very, very popular because he's one of Mr. Beast's friends, which I'm not trying to like say like, oh wow, he hasn't done anything on his own, because he obviously works hard with all the lore stuff and he's actually entertaining, but he's obviously very popular from Mr. Beast. And also he's very positive, which will add humor to the video, which I feel like Manhunt is very, very serious right now, and I feel like that's what Dream wants, but I feel like a bit of humor would be pretty good, just to make this one a bit more different to the other ones, and I feel like it would just make it more interesting. Now, Karl is by far the worst player on this list in terms of skill, which actually is pretty good if he wants to be added to Manhunt, because as I said, Dream wants to add people that he can beat so that he can actually win the Manhunt, not pros. Like, he wouldn't add Technoblade or Illumina or some actually good player to the Manhunt. Now, the only thing is that he could be a bit too much for the cool. Like, he is that one person who speaks a lot, you know what I mean? But I feel like he wouldn't shout over people, but he would be in the spotlight quite a lot. But then again, that could make the video a bit more interesting. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. The other thing is, he also appeared in some of GeorgeNotFound's videos, so they clearly know who he is and they know that he's at least good at recording and he understands how to be funny and stuff like that. And yeah, they have experience with recording with him, which is obviously a plus. Also, I feel like the video would get quite a lot of views just because people want to see Karl in the Manhunt because they know him from Mr. Beast's channel. And I feel like that's definitely something that Dream will consider when picking the 5th hunter. Now, Dream in that clip that I showed you in the intro also said, or someone else, or he said like, maybe none of these, but it could be someone else. So because he only said 4 names and you know, it's a 5th hunter, I wanted to give 5 names in this video. So after just brainstorming, I think that Fundy has a pretty good chance to be on that list as well. Let me explain. For one, he is super positive and definitely something that Dream wants in his video. Also, whenever he screams, he's kind of known for this. His mic cuts out, which makes it kind of funny. And I feel like with something like Manhunt, when there's some intense situation and Fundy's just screaming, it would be pretty funny if his mic just stopped working. I don't know, I feel like that would be just funny. He's also not too bad at PvP, as in like he's not a pro or anything, but he's obviously experienced in 1.16 PvP. But also he has a lot of knowledge about the mechanics and stuff like that of Minecraft, since he is a programmer and he has a lot of knowledge of sort of the dev side of Minecraft and how things work in terms of, you know, actual code, which could also help him in the actual Manhunt. Also, same thing as Punz and Karl, everyone who watches the Dream SMP knows who Fundy is, and I feel like the audience would genuinely like to see him on the Manhunt. And it's for the same reasons why they would like to see Karl on the Manhunt, Punz, everyone else, and it's the same reason why they might want to see Tommy in it, for example, or Technoblade on the Manhunt, just because they want to see, because they like the person. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys. Might make a follow-up video, we'll see. But yeah, like the video, subscribe if you want to see more sort of Dream SMP related content, and I'll see you guys later.